Alright. Today my topic is about the NFL extending the regular season to 18 games. Recently it has been brought up that the NFL would like to replace 2 of the preseason games and make them regular season games. And my main claim is that changing the NFL schedule to have 2 preseason games and 18 regular season games will have a negative effect on the players and its fans. My first secondary claim is taking away 2 preseason games will be devastating to the chances of undrafted rookies trying to make a team. The preseason of football can be very boring sometimes because we don't get to see our favorite players out on the field. But the preseason is the first time that coaches are able to evaluate their rookies in a real NFL game setting. The 4-time league MVP Peyton Manning and 4-time Pro Bowler center Jeff Saturday have argued that eliminating 2 preseason games will take away from the rookies' chances to show the organization they deserve a spot on a team. Jeff Saturday was once an undrafted rookie himself, and he explained how he was grateful for the preseason, and it helped him develop himself as an NFL player, and now he's considered one of the best at his position, and is a very likely candidate for the Hall of Fame. Other players that were undrafted and have had great success are people like Kurt Warner. He won the Super Bowl in 2000 with the St. Louis Rams. Antonio Pierce, one of the best linebackers right now in the NFL. He won a Super Bowl with the New York Giants in 2007. And kicker Adam Vinatieri, he has 4 Super Bowl rings, 3 with the New England Patriots and 1 with the Indianapolis Colts. All 3 of these players were undrafted free agents. And as you can see, that some players don't seem to be good at first, but if given a chance, they can really show the potential. And even Hall of Fame quarterback John Elway was quoted as saying, "You're losing a lot of the developmental side of players by cutting that preseason short. With the NFL Europe gone, they no longer have anywhere to develop players other than at the college level." And he's right. There was a league in Europe that's similar to the AAA ball or minor league in baseball, and it was helpful for players who couldn't make an NFL team. They were able to develop their skills and try out later. With the elimination of 2 preseason games, the undrafted rookies will have almost no chance to make an NFL team. But for players that are already on a team, they use the preseason to prepare for regular season games. And when it's cut short, they have less time, and they also have something else that they have to get ready for now, is 2 extra regular season games. Which leads me to my secondary claim. Making the regular season 18 games long will help raise the risk to injury for all NFL players. There are literally hundreds of injuries every week or every year in the NFL. Reporter Kevin Blackstone, a national reporter for AOLFanhouse.com, says each of the last 3 seasons saw more than 400 players spend time on the injured reserve list, or IR, designated for guys unable to play because of broken bones, torn ligaments, bruised brains, or other calamities. It's roughly a quarter of every roster. So imagine if there were 2 more regular season games, it would only raise the number of injured players per year. Another statistic, this year in the NFL, after week 1, there was tallied 150 reported injuries, minor and major. These numbers are causing coaches to be a lot more cautious with their players. Some coaches even bench a lot of their starters the last 2 weeks of the regular season once they're guaranteed a playoff spot. This can make the players rusty for the playoffs and tends to upset a lot of the fans. Fans pay a lot of money to see their favorite teams, and I'm sure no one would be happy if they went to a game and just to see their favorite players sit on the sideline. So in making this decision, the NFL needs to think about the negative effect that it has on the fans and the players. This leads me to my third claim, secondary claim. Adding 2 more regular season games to the season can force fans and players to go through harsh conditions and weather. As we all know, as it is known, football is one of the only sports that is played in any type of weather. So to add 2 more games they have to make the season either start earlier, sometime in mid-August to early September, or end later, sometime in the end of February. So try to picture a regular season game beginning during late August in a state like Florida, where there's 3 NFL teams, and it's regularly 90 degrees with very high humidity. This can be dangerous for all players, and it's definitely uncomfortable for any fans. You can also picture a state like Arizona at the end of August, where it is averaged at 103 degrees, reported by weatherchannel.com in the month of September. Or imagine another place like Green Bay, where in late February, the average for that month is a high of 29 degrees and a low of 12 degrees Fahrenheit. These conditions are not good for players to play in or for any fans to watch. So in conclusion, the NFL should not approve the making of the regular season games to 18 instead of 16, because it will hurt undrafted rookies' chances of making an NFL team. The longer season will raise the already high risk for players getting injured and having 2 extra regular season games. And it can force players and fans to endure harsh weather conditions that are unsatisfactory. Thank you.
All right, the phrasing of the proposition was a little bit awkward because it's complex. I'm sure there is a way to simplify it. There's not really a preview of what the supporting structure is going to be, but we do get a good signpost on that first point when you get to it. Also, as the second and the third points come up, I wasn't even sure that there was going to be a third point, but you did a nice job labeling both of them when they did come up. So structurally, you're okay. I think the preview needs to be a bit more extensive. At the end of the speech, you had a very good summary reminding us of what the points are, and that's an effective way of finishing the argument, kind of, 3 quick jabs on each of those points that was being presented. I thought the first point is the one that has the strongest evidence on it, and you've got a lot of examples here. You're very dependent on example evidence here, but you also support it by pointing out the absence of alternative ways for any of these undrafted free agents or undrafted rookies or other rookies to get into development by showing there's a lack of alternative choices for them. So I thought that was okay. And you had some good authorities that you cited on that first point to give your point some credibility. The second point on injuries, I think you need a little bit more information here. The information about the number of injuries during the regular season is okay, but for instance, if you had some information that showed that the longer the intensity of play, the more frequently people played, the greater the chance of injury, I think that would have made that point a lot more convincing. The third point is interesting because you rely on hypothetical examples, and there are issues to be brought up about those hypothetical examples. However, since they're talking about substituting 2 of the existing games and replacing, and turning them into regular season games, I don't see how that would end up extending the season. And if they're already playing the games, I'm not exactly sure why there's a harm. Why is it any worse as a consequence? Instead of playing for nothing, now they're playing for something. So if they are going to get dehydrated, at least they're getting dehydrated in the cause that's going to advance their team standing in the situation. So I'm not exactly sure that that's a particularly unique point. Like I said, I thought you did a nice job presenting it, and I appreciate the summary at the end because that's a good way to kind of give the argument a little bit extra push.